Learning how to be movie stars.
All right, that's a cool. It's a cool people. What is up, Mr. J?
Ooh, Mr. Craig. We just did a couple interviews.
Yeah. Did I just do that thing? Like, remember when your mom would get mad at you, and then Eddie Murphy talks about it, where your mom would be all mad at you, screaming, and then the phone rings, and she's like, "Hello," and everything's fine. You're like, "How did you just do that?" Like, I was just like blowing my nose.
Yes.
I might have the COVID. Who knows? And then just, "Hey, Jason," I just did it. I pulled a mom.
Yeah, you went into like
Showtime.
gangster audio mode. Yeah.
Showtime.
Well, you got the little cool sign blinking behind you, and
Yeah,
they got
I
a
do.
little studio going now. They got some
Yeah,
nice lights.
I got to move it down.
Your lights.
It's the license plate and the lights are on top of each other, so I need to get another nail.
I see oods. I don't see anything else. Oods.
Oh, well, the camera's way over there, and I'm afraid that it will lose the feed if I turn it. You know how it does that with this particular software we have?
Right. So this morning, we
Yeah.
had a bunch of software issues. You haven't been feeling good. Then you jumped into hours of computer work, and we kind of conquered and divided what we needed to do. And I jumped into the Elite meeting, and we talked a lot about hiring.
Right. I wasn't in the Elite meeting because...
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I'm talking to you about it now.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome. So I'm just going to catch you up on it.
Thank you.
And we ended up talking a lot about hiring and a couple of the key factors. Like I know we talked about this on the few weeks ago on a coffee talk, but I didn't have success with my last hire. Hired one person. I said that, got to hire more than one the next time. Hire 3-to-1 ratio, right? But we just, we dove into, what makes hiring successful. And one of the things was figuring out a way to onboard without it costing so much. One of the things we talked about is having people do transfers, getting on the phones for at least half the day. So if they're taking the license, the other half of the day, get on the phones. And if have somebody at $15 an hour and they get 4 transfers for half the day, so that's 1 an hour.
$100.
Then you're at
$300.
$30 a transfer, which isn't bad, right? You'd pay that anyways,
right?
For an insurance transfer. So if that happens and the other half of the day they're studying, then you just broke even. Let's say if it doesn't work out, so now it's less of an expense.
Make them subsidize your marketing spend.
Yeah, and in that, doing that transfer, it's the whole, it's not like talking to a friend where it's like, hey, do you want a quote? It's the whole moving them forward. And if they can get that concept down, then they're going to be a good agent. Or if they can't get it down and they can't make the dials, then hey, well, maybe we shouldn't get you licensed.
Right. Exactly. I think it's that whole thing is so important because a lot of folks will bring in the person and then get them all knowledgeable about the insurance, right? Like you're doing the wrong thing first because you don't know if this person is going to perform yet. So why spend all the resources, time and money on this 2-month thing if we don't know if they're even going to be able to do what they need to do?
Right.
Yeah.
100%. And then the other thing that got brought up was, it's funny because I think we all kind of shared the same experience that when you bring someone in, I would say 99% of people, you get them on the phone, you give them a little bit of a script. 3 hours later, they made 20 phone calls because they're studying and they're practicing and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, dude, it takes 30 seconds to get to that voicemail. So you can make 120.
Really liberal. Like that's giving a lot of cushion right there. Yeah.
Right. So they could make 120 phone calls an hour. It's more important for them to make the calls and fail fast than it is for them to study.
Right.
because you get into one of two modes. Either you have the aggressive, you build, and they kind of have to they definitely have to have it in them to begin with, but you also have to set the precedence of what the pace that we're working at, because that those
Yeah.
first few weeks set the pace for the way they're going to work for the next 3 months or the next
Sure.
3 years. And uh I've almost had this conversation with everybody that's come in the office. Is they come in, they start to do this stuff, and then they barely get on the phone. Oh, I didn't get the transfers, or I didn't,
Right.
get the quotes, or whatever it is. And it's like, dude, you only made
Right.
25 phone calls. Like, guaranteed you're going to fail. Like right now, there's no chance you're ever going to have success. All the numbers that we talked about, that you could hit and you could make, and the numbers, like, there's just no chance. So
Right.
either we have to do these drastic changes, and you know, it makes sense mathematically, but you got to call. Right now, I know you're afraid to get on the phones, but let's do it. And really pushing the person to get on the phones and fail fast it's
Yes.
really the key.
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yeah, they'll go to that. It's like the call reluctance, and then, um, for lack of a better word, their future trip in the failure. They go, well, it's kind of like, sometimes the telemarketers will say it to you. It was mostly voicemails and not answers. And it's like, yes, we know that, right? It's 90% that. And so 20 in their head, they made 25 dials. They didn't get a hold of anybody. This is not a good experiment for them in their mind, right? Because it's painful to do anyway. So it's easy to make an excuse like, hey, this doesn't work. And it's like, well, no, it does, because we've made millions of dials. We know it works, right? You just have to make 500 dials. And then you're going to get a hold of what? 30 to 50 people, right? So
Yep.
it's important, I think, to set that expectation, and not just on day one, but also in the interview, because I'd rather scare them and make them not want to work here before they even start than to bring them on and then surprise them with, hey, by the way, you're going to be dialing today, right? Like, that's just part of the thing. You're going to dial. So it's interesting. I think in the interview, it's this like back and forth dance between selling them on how awesome it is, because it can be awesome and they can make a lot of money, right? I mean, I have one of my producers making over 7K, 8K a month. So you can make a lot of money, but it requires a lot of hustle. And so then you kind of talk them out of it. So attract them, then talk them out of it, attract them, then talk them out of it. And then we always will reject them too. So if you're going to have an interview here, you're going to be told that it's probably not a good fit. And it's just part of the thing, because we want to see how tenacious they are on the comeback, right?
Yeah. And it's really just like overall, it's kind of like the fail fast. When they come in the agency, fail fast. But
Yeah.
honestly, we have to diagnose fast,
Yeah.
because though, dude, the way I used to run it was horrible. They'd come in, they'd go through all the training and all this stuff. Well, I wouldn't even get them on the phones for 3-4 weeks.
Right.
Like, try to teach them everything about insurance. Next thing you know, they get on the phones a month later, they suck, because they just got trained that they don't have to do much in the
Sure.
agency except study. And then it's like, then the next month, so month 2 becomes trying to break those habits and build,
Right.
sales monster, which doesn't happen. Month 3, you're like regretting the decision, and should I hire somebody else?
Right.
And then you got to start the whole process over again by month 4. It's just unreal how inefficient that can be.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
we have to cut down the inefficiencies, because it's really the biggest expense in the agency. Besides leads, but
Yeah. Yeah, totally,
that's
man.
more of an
I mean,
investment.
yeah, but my
Well, that's
newest
all investment.
one, we did that very thing last week, and then it would be the transfer. Then she'd go sit with them. We gave her admin so she could listen to the calls. So she would sit next to them after she made the transfer to listen to the quote, watch the screen, kind of see everything that's going, to get an understanding of what it will be. Right? It paints the picture of, oh, I'm not going to be doing this side of it for forever, but it's something that they need to
Right.
grind their teeth with. So it
I
shows them.
love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice.
I just said don't go into
Nice. So you,
vendors and start deleting things.
right. Reroute phone
Yeah. Don't
calls.
change the
Yeah.
routing. So, but it's just so they can listen, right? You have to. So, yeah, pretty cool. That worked out
That
well.
is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool. And it's really it's thinking outside the box. So, the way old Jason would think was, wow, like if you hire someone new, it takes 2 or 3 months of all this expense to figure out if they're good or not. But really think about how, kind of with all your marketing, think about how you can break even faster on the front end, because the less of a cost it is on the front end, the faster you can grow, the easier it is to, well, dude, it won't cost you. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to convince anybody that costing, but that's why we do the transfers, or do something that to subsidize the cost so that it's not a cost anymore. It's whatever.
Yeah.
Been a
Whatever.
long
Let's
day,
just
Mr.
drop the
Craig.
whatever mic. I love it.
Yeah,
That is some
cool.
knowledge nuggets from Mr. Jason.
Some hiring talk. I thought it's a
Yeah.
fun talk.
HT.
Fun to think about.
Yeah. Some
Yep.
HTs.
Some
So
HTs. Drop it.
yeah. Don't forget to click that subscribe button, and you're going to get some awesome stuff that I'm not going to tell you about because you already know. And that's a coffee talk.
That's coffee talk.
Beep beep.